What it do? What it do? What it do? I'm here, fellow nerd, fellow weeb, fellow gamer, all that. Um, I'm still doing this. I surprise even myself at this moment that I am still doing this. Um, I'm liking it though. It's fun. I feel like I very well know these movies now. Like, oh man. I mean, I didn't think I would have to watch that third Halloween 3 again, and yet I did. But at least I understand that one more now. But now we're up to. It's not called Halloween 6, but it's the sixth movie. But it's called Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers. Now it's a curse, and it gets very well into it in this one. This movie just at this point, Michael Myers is known as a serial killer. He's like they're referring him to like other known real serial killers now, and people like teenage girls are like admiring him, like, oh my god, I wonder what he's so mysterious. Like this dude at this point in the movie and following the storyline, he's been shot multiple times, burned, exploded, like ran over, like, and I didn't even say before, but in the fifth one, he he took off his mask for Jamie, and his face looked fine. Like he looked better than Dr. Loomis, and I'm like, like that mask could not have helped him that much, because that mask barely took any damage itself. But yeah, and it's crazy because it starts off like we get an older Jamie. This Jamie being played by JC Brandy, and yeah, and because last we saw her, she sees Michael be freed by this mysterious man in in like a black coat, and you didn't know what to think, and then the movie starts off saying like, oh, Jamie was also kidnapped by these men, and that's when we see her older, she's giving birth to like a baby, which who knew? Like I don't know if they explain where like or like if they like I don't know how she got pregnant, but yeah, she gave birth. Jamie had a baby, and it's crazy because like you know you would believe this would be like an older version of that Jamie that we saw in the last two movies. Because once again, she's running away from Michael Myers while holding a baby now, and and they give us that scene again. They give us a classic Michael chase scene like right off the bat, and it's with someone we already know. Like we're like rooting for like Jamie to get away, and we think she would. And there's so many moments she does. She even gets on the phone with somebody like a radio station, being listened to by Dr. Loomis and Tommy Doyle, who was in the first one, who was also now grown up, played by Paul Rudd, the man who never ages. But yeah, we get a return of Tommy again. But yeah, Jamie calls that station. She's like, Dr. Loomis, I know you're out there. Michael's back. This that, and then she hangs up. Like, but she doesn't say in that phone call. She never says I am Jamie. She just says Michael's back. Like she gave no information. And for someone trying to run away, she did horrible. But yeah, I mean, like these mystery men who were holding Jamie hostage, like apparently they're part of a cult. I think they kind of explained in the beginning. If not, they they kind of like spread it out throughout. Um, but you learn that these men in the cults are part of, like, I mean, they're basically a cult, and they like, apparently this evil that Doctor Loomis always been talked about in the movies is actually real, and like these people worship something, and they had like this curse thing, like that's why it's called the curse of Michael Myers, because they possess like this evil entity or whatever, and they unleashed it on Michael Myers when he was a kid, which is what made him kill his older sister in that first movie. So now they're trying to take it back to the beginning. And yeah, and and it's crazy because now it's like, oh, it was never just a kid who just thought like, oh, I just wanted to kill my older sister. Now it's like, now they're really trying to get into like the weebs of like, yeah, this might it all this stuff that Dr. Loomis talked about this evil is real, and they were this cult was controlling it, and they just unleashed on this kid that made him kill, and that's why apparently he could probably never die either, because he's not even he has no consciousness. He's literally an evil entity just out on, I think, being controlled by these men in the cults. And and yeah, and that's the thing, we get you know Dr. Loomis back, Donald Pleasance, his last role as Dr. Loomis, and he has reached, you could tell, like, I didn't know if he probably even wanted to do this movie again, but he was just like, he played it good. He played, because the thing is, he was Dr. Loomis was retired in this movie now. We see him retired, more bearded, which makes him look more cooler. Still looks a little damaged from the explosion. Surprised that this man is, and that's the thing, he was presumed dead, and now he's alive, and that's the thing. How did he not know about Jamie? Like, he was retired, living on the countryside or something. Jamie's out there with a baby running from his colon. Like, Dr. Loomis never bothered to like he was the one that always knew that Michael Myers was always out there, and yet he gave up. He just gave up and ran away. But like, yeah, I mean, it was amazing seeing him back though, because when he knew Michael was really back, he really he really got back into it. Now he was like, all right, now we have to like stop Michael. But yeah, I mean, I blanked out there for a second. I was just I'm just trying to remember, like, uh but yeah, I mean, this movie, it was good. I mean, those cult people, they're just like, it's like, all right, we're doing this. Or, because they did had him in the previous ones, and but it was good because this the story just continued on from like the previous two, basically from the first, originally from the first. This is how long the story is lasting so far, and of course written by Deborah Hill and John Carpenter, along with Daniel Ferrans. Oh my God, why do these people have these names? And yet I'm one of these people too, so I don't blame people for messing up my name. But I'm like, I'm no better myself. But yes, those three wrote this movie. Amazing. Directed by Joe Chappelle. Hopefully, I'm saying that one right. um, and and people are so interested in Myers. Like, people celebrate him now. They're like, oh, Myers, serial killer. He lived in his house. The Strode family. We focus on the Strode family. I guess Laurie Strode's family that was away when she was home, and now there's Carl, which would have been her cousin or sister, and then another, uh, another, another, another brother, and then that Strode, one of those Strodes had a son too. And it was weird. They had a big family, and the family had so many issues. Like the father didn't want, like the father was mad that his daughter had a baby, like has a son, not a baby, but like has a son already because he's like a child. Um, Kind of how like Tommy was, um, when he was young. But yeah, and then he's like calls the kid a bastard and shit. And you're like, oh my god, yo, like this family has issues. And yeah, and you're just like, oh my god, like at that point you're just like, Michael, please, kill kill this dude, like like the father, like because yeah, this family's just. And yeah, Michael, of course, Michael goes on his rampage. You should know, no one survives in a Michael Myers movie, other than you'd be surprised at this point now, but nobody survives. At least in these movies. Um, and that's the thing. In this one, we're in the '90s, baby. We're deep in it. 1995, and you you could tell you're in a '90s movie, which I like. I mean, we're back in Haydenfield. We're back in the old Myers house because that Strode family is living in Michael's old house, which is so creepy because the inside still looks a little messed up. So you're just like, but it's dope that they're back in this town. You know, they have the leaves falling, Halloween time. You see, when it comes, you see kids trick or treating this time, and it's just, and then the teenagers come in, and then it's more of a like you get more of a Halloween feel in this Michael Myers movie, which I really like, especially when it takes place back in Haydenfield because that's the best. Um, and the new group of teenagers, I like them, especially because it's in the '90s. Those type of teenagers are like, yeah, they're 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 a crazy bunch. But and I guess that Strode family has issues because people joke about them. People put pranks on their house. They're like, oh, these people live in a serial killer's house, and then Strode family gets upset. So, and then they're like, oh, you shouldn't get upset. And they're like, what do you think? Like, with these people, and I don't know. That hardly plays into the movie that much though. But it's more of Michael the killing, and that's the thing. The Michael played by so bad with this right now. Um, George Wilbur, who was in the last three maybe, four or five. Yeah, he was in the fourth one, fifth one, and this one. And dope. He played Michael dope, chasing, running after you. I was loving every freaking minute of it. I mean, especially at one point, Michael even speeds up a little bit. At one point, you see a lot of people really running, and then you're just like, oh, they're definitely gonna actually get away from Michael. And then Michael's actually like, he's like, and then you're like, oh shit, he's speeding up this time. Like Michael really wants to kill. But yeah, I mean, Michael's kills, they're crazy. He does kills. At one point, he stabs a woman onto a wall, and he does it the thing he did in the first movie. You know me, I love the callbacks to the first one. Um, but he does this thing where he just stares at her, and he tilts the head again, like he's like, and it's like, oh, they're like, he kind of did it. I felt like he kind of did it too much. Like he was like, but, but nah, it was good. I loved it. I was like, oh, they're doing, and they had the music again. They played the old school music, so I was loving it. The whole vibe of it, it was very 90s, so it was like, it's starting to get more modern. So, so it's getting like much more better. And I don't even think I mentioned this before, but Jamie, she dies. Yeah, Michael finally gets her, but she manages to get her baby away. Michael finally gets her, and he kills her brutally. Like stabs her through somewhere, like through like some chainsaw thing, and she's like, "Oh, you'll never find the baby or whatever." And then he turns it on, and then she's just like, "Oh," and I'm just like, "Oh Jesus, Jamie, like no, like can we go out like this? Like it's messed up, super messed up." I mean, it's dope seeing Tommy played by Paul Rudd. Honestly, it's really exciting to see Tommy back again. So it's weird that he always lived in Haydenfield after all this time, and like Michael's been everywhere else trying to kill all these other people, and then when he comes back, now he's he's like, all right, now I'm gonna kill Tommy. Come back to kill Tommy. Cause yeah, Michael, he gets the job done. Like he finally killed Jamie. He's like trying to kill this bloodline or whatever, and that's the thing. Like the cult people, what they did to Michael when he was a kid in the first movie to make him Michael Myers, they were trying to do on this new kid, on the new Strode family, the new kid, younger kid, to make him basically be like, oh, the new Michael Myers, because it probably backfired when they tried to do it with Jamie when she was a kid and killed her, tried to kill her stepmom. But they're like, oh, maybe we could do it with this new kid, because he's a Strode and he lives in a Michael Myers house in his bedroom and he's seeing visions. So like, but he doesn't turn, and it's weird. It gets very not like sci-fi, but like like a cult. They got powers. It's a curse. It's like trying to explain also like this is why Michael took so many damn shots and still surviving. Surprisingly, his face looks fine, but his hand is always looks messed up. It's all the budget they had. Nah, but the killings were good, so they used good budget for that because the killings were very brutal. I I love the Michael Myers killings. Like sometimes, like they just be looking like insane. Especially when Michael does some crazy shit when he like snaps someone's neck or rips it off because you're like, can someone do that even with like super like as strong as he is? Like, because it looks a little silly, but it's like, oh, damn. But yeah, Michael kills everyone. The Strode family dies very quick. And the thing is, when he does these kills, he doesn't. I love the callbacks. He still does this display his victims before he shows it to the main person. Then when they see them, they get scared. Then he did it for like basically each kill. Showed them. He started with one kill like simple, then showed that one to the next one, showed more to the next one, showed more to the next one. You're just like classic Michael Myers. But this whole movie, it it definitely it definitely has its moments because it's back in Hidden Field. You have returning characters like Tommy and Donald Pleasance, which is his last role. Rest in peace to him. And at the end of the movie, it says in memory of him. So that's very nice. Um, it's good because Donald Pleasance's last role, and he played it so good. He no one like it makes you go back to that first movie and you're just like, damn, this dude really did so freaking amazing. But Myers was being Michael Myers from like the beginning of this movie throughout the end of this movie. He was always around. I don't think he did so much of the standing around in the distance and watching. I think he did actually. He probably did. I'm pretty sure he did. But yeah, I mean, other than that, with the music around, it gave it that feel. You know, it tried to follow this new girl, Kara Strode. Oh, so I'm assuming it might have been Laura Strode's sister, cousin, probably cousin, or sister. I'm so like they. You should. I mean, I would assume sister because I mean it's just. I mean the last name could be different cousins too, but like I don't know. Um, I'm saying sister. Don't like don't believe. I don't know. Um, but yeah, she's the one with the son Danny, which is I should have said his name because I kept saying it's like kid, but like yeah, his name's Danny. Danny Strode. I blanked on his name before. That's why. Danny Strode and Danny, who would have been the new Michael Myers instead of Jamie Lloyd. But and Kara, she she was good. It was like she was like oh the new person now to fill the Jamie Lee Curtis role, but she was the more. I mean, I think they weren't following like high school kids at this point when they were following the teenagers. It was more like college kids. I think I want to say college kids. I'm not sure. If not, they were like maybe like seniors. Marianne Hagen is who played Kara Strode. Um, yeah, because it says she was in Friends. Um, I was just looking at her thing. That's not big, you know. That's all I'll say. I'm not gonna get too deep in that. But yeah, she was good. She tried her best to help her friends more than more main characters in another movie, and of course she failed. But you know, and and I guess it was good, man, because I don't remember if she had that many chase scenes in in with Michael. It was funny because I watched this movie not that long ago, but um and I guess it was good, man, because I don't remember if she had that many chase scenes in in with Michael. It was funny because I watched this movie not that long ago, but and yeah, and her running scenes with Michael, they were good. I think And sorry, I really, and you know what's funny? I'm not even gonna edit that out. Um, but it is crazy how this movie it focuses. You know, this is the first movie that sees Michael Myers as a serial killer. The the teenagers, the town sees Michael. You know, like radio stations talk about Michael Myers. Like, oh, you know, why is this guy so cool? You know, what makes him so different from these other real serial killers? But okay, I'm so sorry that I'm black. Like, just wait. Like, just I'm reading this as I'm going along, and I'm not even gonna edit this out. So, I mean, I feel like I said as much as I can about this movie. Like, this movie is really good. Like, I don't want to spoil so much either. I feel like I mean, he kills everyone. You should always expect that, but it's like it's the feeling you get. You get that horror feeling back of it. You know, you get the almost like the original Halloween because it's back in Haydenfield. They do that thing again where it's like, you know, they focus on Michael Myers' house and they're inside Tommy's house. And Tommy's house is right across from Michael Myers' house. So it's like they do that going across the house thing, kind of like they did in the first one. Again, home, you know, they did a lot of like references to the first one, which is good because, you know, like you know, I love the first one. And doing that, especially on Don's Pleasant's like last film, and bringing an old character like Tommy back, especially played by Paul Rudd because Paul Rudd is fucking amazing. He plays that character so damn well. I mean, who knows what to expect from an older Tommy, but I mean, I could say there's weird scenes, not weird, but like you see certain scenes where you see a girl like saying like, "Oh, it's raining red. Oh, it's warm," and then you realize there's a dead body above her, and like, oh, it's like you know she's dancing in blood, and you're like, "Oh my god!" Like, but yeah, I mean, once again, it's like they inject Michael with something to make him weak. Tommy starts beating him with Kara and has the kid when Michael's almost getting them, and then Loomis comes in. He's like, "No, I'll take care of him. You go." And then he goes, and then they come back, and then for some reason Michael takes off the mask because nothing you see is just the mask. So you're like, and then Doctor Loomis is like, "Oh no, he got away," and then you're just like, "Well, I guess he got away." I don't know why he took off the mask. Michael would never take off the mask, so why he was like, "Oh, maybe he realized that one was actually a battle." He's like, "You know what? I'm gonna go grab a new one." Honestly, this one was not that bad. I know I shit on the mask recently, but this one is like supposed to be the same one from the fourth one, and it's been going through some shit. So now it's at that point where it looks a little, which is funny because the one from the first Michael Myers movie was the one that's like also not as damaged, like it's also like kind of brand new, but it has like I don't know, creepy feeling to it. I mean, you see his eyes, I think, in that one more in the first movie. In this one, his eyes are like mostly dark. I mean, you do see moments of his eyes, but in this one, they're like mostly dark, and it also gives you a creepy feeling. But you know, it gives you that Halloween Michael Myers feel. So that's what you should love about it. And yeah, it's a good movie. I mean, if I had to rate this one, and you'd be surprised when I say what I rate this. And I don't care if most of these ratings would be the same, because guess what? This one also gets an 8 out of 10. Yes, 8 out of 10. That's good. Yeah, because I do like this. You know, I mean, I almost gave it a 9 out of 10 because it's the cult thing. It's just very out there. It's very everywhere. So, but you know, you get Dr. Loomis talking about evil this time and saying that it is. See that what I talked about evil is right. Now he's like confirming it. Just and another dude even said it too. He's like, "Oh, that stuff you said about evil, you're right, Dr. Loomis." And you just like it all comes full circle in this one. So it is good, especially with Dr. Loomis last one. That's why I really enjoyed it because we just get him by name in the next ones. And yeah, Joe Chappelle. I don't know if I mentioned much about him, but he directed it. If I had to go down his list, I'm not quite sure right now. Of course, this is his second movie. Yes, this is his second movie, and oh, that is just perfect because that is their MO of just hiring new directors. I mean, he went on later to do nothing. Dark Prince, the true story of Dracula TV movie. Witchblade, The Twilight Zone, couple 2 episodes from there. CSI, CSI Miami, Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Godfather of Harlem, and with the Devil. Couple all those some of those episodes. That's what he did later on. A couple episodes of Manifest, executive producer, and yeah, 12 episodes. All that stuff, whatever. But weirdly, because it was a good, I guess, I mean, it was a, I mean, and I'm thinking about like director wise, it's just like the story, like that's why the score is like I don't want. See, now I'm thinking like, oh, should I give it a low score? No, I'm sticking with it. But I give it 8. Yeah, 8. Okay, yeah, I enjoyed it. I I go for it for Michael Myers, and Michael he gave me what I wanted from a Michael Myers movie. So, but yeah, I mean, story. I mean, at this point, they had Jamie had psychic powers with Michael. So at this point, I was willing to go as far as they wanted to with this fucking cult thing. So, but that is what I'll give it. That is all for this. I hope this was helpful for you. I'm not gonna ramble on this one as I did the last one because we're just gonna go down crazy lane on the next couple of Halloween movies. Believe that. Um, thank you for watching. If you do, I always say that because I never know. Like the video, share it if you want to. I never said that, but yeah, share it if you want to. IG, I love a nerd, 2 eyes, as always. Um, and yeah, now we're gonna get into I don't even know what the next Halloween movie is called, but we're really gonna get into it now. So catch y'all next time. Light one up, enjoy your night, keep the peace, and stay frosty.